This part of my story is going to talk about misdiagnoses and how, when you have a cancer story, no matter what, you have to advocate for yourself. Sometimes you have to push and be pushy, and that's okay because the doctors can only do so much and they're still only human. So my story starts off as I had some symptoms for about 8 months, and I kind of ignored those symptoms, which was not a good thing because I thought, I was being told that they were something else completely, that they were fine. And then when my GP finally ordered me a colonoscopy, I went for that colonoscopy, and it was a tough experience. And the doctor took me and my boyfriend into the room after and said, okay, so I found 3 polyps, but I've been doing this for 45 years and they're definitely not cancer. You're totally fine. Everything's fine. If it was cancer, we'd be having a different conversation. And so I started to cry, of course. And the doctor said, why are you crying? I said, well, because you just said you found something in me. And before that, I had heard nurses tell another person that if they find polyps, it's not good. And I'm only 41, so I had all those conversations in my head that were replaying back. And the doctor actually started to get mad at me and say, you're totally fine, I've been doing this a long time, you don't have cancer. So what happened from there is a very long story, but as a counselor, I started to recognize a lot of red flags. This doctor who said I was fine went on sick leave. He didn't transcribe his notes when my GP asked for them, and they couldn't tell me whether they took out 3 or none. So all of a sudden, here I am thinking that they took out none and everything's still stuck in me. And we got the lab report back that said they were precancerous. So that kind of made me push for a second colonoscopy. And I was told, oh no, you're fine, they're precancerous, you don't need a second colonoscopy until 3 years from now. And so I said, no, I don't want to wait 3 years, I know something's wrong. They said, well, we don't just do a second one right away, they're expensive, blah, 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 blah. So you get walls sometimes in this experience. So I just kept pushing, and finally I got a second colonoscopy with an oncology surgeon. And as soon as she went up in there, she found a tumor the size of a grapefruit right at the opening. So she said the doctor must have been drunk to miss it. And she found 7 more tumors inside me that she took out. So in total, I had 10 in me that I didn't even know about, and I was told I was fine. So that is how my cancer story started, with a misdiagnosis, with advocating. So this video is about, no matter what, advocate for yourself. Ask any question, whether it's stupid or small or big, ask it a million times over, get second opinions, because you never know, and it's good to just sometimes take your own health into your account and push. Because sometimes you have to push. They told me that if I hadn't pushed for the second colonoscopy, I would have been dead in 2 years, way before my next colonoscopy was due. So that's the story of that part. And I'll say toodaloo for now.